Since all this mess began with the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan, can the erstwhile USSR be blamed for the disastrous Afghanistan situation as much as the United States? And why did the Soviet Union try to capture it anyway, considering that it consisted of half of the planet's land mass already? So the main question is, why did the USSR invade Afghanistan? It already had almost half the world's landmass. Well, it's the game of geopolitics is about global domination. No matter how much territory or influence you have, it's never enough. You want more, right? So what happened is that in 1978 in Afghanistan, there was a coup. It was called the Saur Revolution. I think it was in April 1978. Essentially it was a communist takeover of Afghanistan. The local communist party or political outfit under a guy called Hafizullah Amin, they engineered a coup and they were able to seize power in Kabul. And over a very short period of time, over just 3 months or so, this individual called Hafizullah Amin, he unleashed a wave of terror in Afghanistan. He ordered the executions of thousands of Afghans who he perceived as being opposed to his ideology, communism, socialism, etc., and all that, and who he saw as political opponents. So it was a wave of terror in just 3 months. So the revolution was a communist takeover of Afghanistan. It was certainly aligned in favor of the USSR. It was a pro-USSR revolution, a pro-USSR coup and regime that was installed. Now, this guy, Hafizullah Amin, he made so many enemies in just 3 months that the situation became very volatile. And there was a very strong possibility that there would be a counter-revolution, a counter-coup, in which this highly unpopular person and this highly unpopular regime would be overthrown and some other political dispensation would come to power. So that was the situation. The coup was successful. The communists took over, but this crazy person, Hafizullah Amin, threatened the stability of the country and of the new regime. So to protect their newfound investment or their newfound advantage in Afghanistan, the USSR decided to invade Afghanistan and secure Kabul and secure the regime in Kabul. So that is what precipitated the USSR's invasion of Afghanistan, because they found that there is a pro-USSR regime, but its future is being threatened by the actions of this one person. So the Soviets invaded Afghanistan, they took over Kabul, and they executed Hafizullah Amin and put somebody else in his place. And then there was this long war of attrition. The US got involved via Pakistan. This Mujahideen strategy was created. These Mujahideens were portrayed as great freedom fighters, heroes. And there was even a Rocky movie made in which they are portrayed as freedom fighters fighting the Soviets and all that. So is the USSR to be blamed for the disastrous situation? No, not exactly. I mean, yeah, you could say that this 1979 invasion is what precipitated the situation that we see today in Afghanistan. So in a way, yes, that invasion did precipitate this entire period of instability and the complete gradual eventual destruction of the country's infrastructure and everything. It did precipitate that. But there is always a backstory to this. To understand what went wrong in Afghanistan, we have to go back 1,000 years actually. That's where everything started going wrong. I spoke about that in the previous episode, so you can look that up. I'll not go into it again. But the things that went wrong in Afghanistan started 1,000 years ago with the Turkic invasion and occupation of northern India, Gandhar, which is now Afghanistan. So that is in brief what happened.